I am obese. Like I am comfortable having 2 seats in the plane type of obese. I am well aware of that and I really don't like to bother people with my weight. A week ago I was going to a conference by plane and because I was going alone, usually when I fly with my boyfriend I don't buy 2 since he sits next to me, I bought 2 seats. I fit in one but my side is usually touching the person next to me and I feel uncomfortable for them. It happened to me that they gave me nasty looks and I felt extremely uncomfortable the whole flight. So I sat down in the plane and put the armrest up so I would be really comfortable. Some couple came and they both sat next to me because they got separate seats and they noticed the seat next to me was empty. Exactly what I was afraid of happened. My side kept touching the guy next to me and he even pushed me a bit when he moved in the seat. I was feeling extremely uncomfortable and asked him if he could go to his seat because I bought this one for my comfort. He told me no, since the seat is empty and he wants to be with his girlfriend. Well, I told him I understand but I feel uncomfortable and I paid for the second seat so exactly this doesn't happen. He refused again and started to chat with his GF. I called the flight attendant and quietly told her what is happening. She asked the guy to leave my second seat and he and his GF gave me a nasty look. The GF mumbled something like, "fucking fat bitch," under her breath but nothing directly to me. So am I the asshole for insisting on him to leave? NTA. It doesn't matter why you purchased that seat. You could have bought it for the spirits of your ancestors so they could guide you safely to your destination and it would have been no one's business but yours. Sorry this happened. Lol, I guarantee if you say that to someone trying to sit in your seat, they won't want to sit down next time. NTA, op. But the unnecessary comments from that lady. Asshole behavior. NTA. If it happens again, don't let them sit down. Block the extra seat and state immediately, I paid for 2 seats. This one is not available. Once I got on a plane, Southwest, and they actually had a small piece of laminated paper sitting on a seat with this information. Made it easy to tell. NTA. You bought that seat. The couple sitting apart has nothing to do with you. IDGAF if you were thin and bought a second seat for your emotional support ghost. That's your seat. Emotional support ghost, brilliant. Op should use this excuse next time. Have an award first place medal trophy. NTA. It wasn't a free, available seat. You purchased it. You bought the seat so it is occupied. What blows my mind is the couple chose to sit there then complain about op like. Maybe don't sit in someone else's seat because you can't plan ahead. NTA. They tried to take something you paid for and then were rude to you. It's a bit shocking, really, considering the number of people who comment on social media that larger people should have to buy 2 seats. Please don't feel bad about yourself because they chose to be horrid and entitled. I must say I flew several times with just 1 seat since there were not 2 available and I always apologized to the person next to me and it was never an issue. They were usually nice and told me not to worry about it. NTA former flight attendant. It's your seat. You paid for it. If that classless couple wanted to sit together that badly, they should have paid for seats together. I must point out the flight attendant was absolute sweetheart. Very kind and understanding smiley face. She was also giving me the belt extension and when I apologized to her, she told me not to worry about it and it was overall very pleasant situation to talk to her. NTA. You paid for the second seat for that very reason. I'm sorry, op. They acted horribly. This is so shitty. Op does everything right to ensure they are comfortable and that others around him are not uncomfortable and they still got shat on. Some people are just assholes, op. You were in the right the whole way through. NTA. NTA. You did exactly what you needed to do to make yourself comfortable on the flight. If they wanted to sit together, they should have paid the extra to ensure early seat selection. Exactly. You paid extra in order to feel comfortable. You should never be sorry about that. NTA. NTA. You paid for that seat fair and square. It doesn't matter why. You have your reasons, but it's none of his business. You are entitled to what you paid for. You respectfully told him that you purchased 2 seats and he chose to be a total asshole. I'm so sorry this happened to you. It's totally unfair that people feel they can treat others like this. NTA. I don't care if you are insanely skinny. You paid for the seat. It's yours regardless. Yeah, I was going to add, I've heard of people doing this plenty of times with several different classes of seats just to have an extra seat next to them and some space between him and the next guy. NTA. You did exactly what people scream at fat people to do and still got abuse hurled at you. The fact they didn't even ask is odd. And the fact that they were so rude and shoved up after taking the seat that wasn't even theirs. They were incredibly entitled. NTA. NTA. You paid for them. They are yours and kudos for you to think ahead and be polite like that. Thank you for going the extra step to be kind. NTA. You paid for that seat. It's your seat and frankly airplane seats are too small. I was on a flight last week. I bought it last minute and ended up with a center seat in the basic cabin. The cheap seats on United flights, at least on this plane, don't have movable arm rests. My hips hit both armrests, read walls. It was very uncomfortable. I wear a women's 10/12. After that experience I will always buy 2 seats if I'm in the back or at least never settle for less than business class. Well, I am way bigger than regular adult woman, by my own fault I must say, which is shameful. But I totally see your point. It's so small and my knees were hurting from the plane. Also the flight was really long. I was coming from Europe to USA. NTA. You paid for the 2 seats. They were yours to do exactly what you wanted with regardless of your reasons. Sorry that happened to you. I'm sorry that happened to you. That was very unfair. You paid for that seat so you could be comfortable. They had no right to fight you on that. Especially being cruel for no reason. NTA. Sorry they were so mean. NTA. You paid for the seat. You paid extra to stop others having to feel uncomfortable, as well as you. Ignore the entitled R and you be you. NTA. You paid for the seats, they didn't. If they wanted to sit together then they should have bought their tickets earlier. You were being considerate of other people as well with this decision and didn't put the burden on others to accommodate your situation. Not in the slightest. NTA. Those people suck. NTA. You paid for that seat and they were holes for not respecting you. If they wanted to sit together bad enough to bully people over it, they would have done more work to ensure they'd be together. I'm so sorry that was your experience. It's an obvious NTA. You paid for the seat, they didn't. If they wanted to sit together, they needed to pay extra to reserve their seat together. NTA. You paid for the seat, period. If he wanted it and you were willing to endure the discomfort, he can pay you the cost of the seat. I'm sorry that people are still entirely dehumanizing about obesity. Definitely NTA. But the couple definitely are. If they wanted to be together, they should have planned better and brought seats tougher. I think you did everything you could to not be an A. Completely NTA whatsoever. NTA. You paid for 2 seats next to each other. So those are your 2 seats. Any other details should not matter. That couple was inconsiderate, rude, and immature to treat you that way. They can survive a few hours apart or ask someone to trade seats. It should not be your problem. Don't forget entitled. NTA. I have a huge respect for you for buying your extra seat, I really do. You paid for it. It's your seat, obese or not. NTA. Fucking assholes. You paid for the seat, period. Their lack of planning isn't your problem. NTA. You paid for the seat as a courtesy to those around you. He is not entitled to sit anywhere he wants. If they wanted to be sure to sit together they should have paid more up front. The woman is pretty awful to make such nasty comments, and they probably would have been nasty on the flight anyway. With that attitude they'd have been upset you were touching them or some other bull. NTA. That was a them problem, not a you problem. You had the foresight to purchase the seat next to you to avoid this, while these jerks couldn't bother to pay the extra fee to make sure they were sitting together. It's not your fault or your problem.